Make your own cards. This is something I see a lot of people struggling with. Have you ever tried using Anki in the past, but no matter how many cards you reviewed, the information just didn't stick? Maybe you even thought that it wasn't for you. Well, spoiler, maybe it's not Anki itself that's the problem, but how you're using it. Let me explain. Everyone and their mother has used pre-made decks, especially if you're based in the US, where each institution appears to have their own set available. I personally think it helps if you're in a pinch, especially if you're a med student, but if there are no decks specific to your institution or your major, you can easily get carried away reviewing things that don't actually make sense to you. I'm currently a third-year pharmacy student, and I only have classes in the morning, and I'm also not currently doing an internship, so I have the time to make my own cards. But regardless, I would generally recommend you start writing at least a few of your own cards, and there's two reasons for that. First of all, specificity is key. Each person understands things different ways. I don't necessarily mean different learning styles, but if you give the same sentence to different people, they'll interpret it in different ways. If you write your own cards, you make sure you're writing in the most efficient way to convey the information to you, which means when you see the card again, you'll actually know what it wants from you. I guess there's a point to be made about expanding your comprehension skills, but I don't think Anki cards are the place to be doing that. I think P sets are way better suited for that. Second point, repetition is remembering. By making your own cards, you're going through your notes all over again, some sort of second pass. Obviously, if you're mindlessly adding your notes into Anki, then it doesn't change much. But maybe you're saying it out loud while you make the cards. Or maybe you're reorganizing the information in your notes to fit the card format. Or maybe you're glancing at your notes while making the cards with trying not to look back at your notes, some sort of preliminary remembering. Regardless of the method, it helps things stick to your brain, which means remembering better. Just to be clear, I don't think making each individual card on your own is feasible for every student. Maybe you go to college and also work part-time, so there's barely any free time available. Maybe you're in a high-density field like medicine where making your own cards means making 1,000 cards per subject. I get that, but that's the beauty of it all. Like I said, you don't have to make every single card from scratch. What you have to do is think about the information you're putting into Anki. Here's what I mean. You can get a pre-made deck and browse all the cards, or at least just the high-yield ones, and think, do I understand what this card wants from me without looking at the answer? Can I rewrite it in a way that makes me associate the card with the answer better? Or you can take a pre-made deck and add to it. Here you're mostly going to think, is there a card that I can add that will help me associate two related concepts better? Or you can make your own deck from scratch, but that requires a lot of time and dedication, and again, for high density fields, it's almost impossible to do without sacrificing things like leisure and like your social life. My point is, only relying mindlessly on Anki without actual thought about the topics you're learning or the cards you're adding is just going to hurt you in the long run. You're not going to learn anything effectively. If this method works for you, then great. But maybe you've been using Anki for a while and you've just never stuck the landing. And maybe this is the thing that gets you up. Anki is a great tool for memorization, especially when you have a large volume of content. I always recommend it, but you need to know how to use it. I have suspected ADHD, so you can imagine how bad I am at remembering more technical stuff like formulas or metabolic pathways, and I always struggled with Anki back when I was majoring in neuroscience, but now doing it this way helps me remember things so much easier. It's like I discovered like a new world. If you feel like it, give Anki another try, but make sure each added card is intentional and makes sense to you, and only you. No sharing with others, no generalizing, only you. It's your deck for you to learn. Remember that. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.